Okay, Salam. So now I want to start off by asking you all a question. Asking you all a question. Where do demons lurk? Where do demons reside? Where do demons dwell? Now, if there's anybody that normally would not have during stayed this late in this type of message, let me repeat that. If there's anybody that's still here that normally during this type of message would have been left, if there's anyone out there that doesn't believe in demons, please leave. I want you to go. I want you to leave. Because you shouldn't have never stayed this long. So, see, I'm sick and tired of talking to you type of people. Once again, if there's anyone that's here that you don't believe in evil supernatural forces or if you don't believe in I don't even like the word supernatural, to be honest with you. But for the sake of the discussion, if there's anybody that's still here and you do not believe in the forces of the supernatural, please leave, because I don't have time to be talking to you. Because if that's foolishness to you, then you are the ultimate fool, and I don't need to be speaking to you type of people. I don't have time for you. Okay? I'm not talking about people that, oh yeah, sure, there's demons. Because you have those type of people. Yeah, I believe in demons. But then you have these type of people, man. That shit is real. You know what I'm saying? The forces of evil are real. See, you have to understand. There's levels to this belief. Because the people that normally just say, well, yeah, I believe in demons. They don't really, it's foolishness to them. And I don't have time for any of you to think like that right now. I need you to understand that the forces of evil are real. But remember, before the Spirit of God, which is light, you understand that, right? The Spirit of God is light. And before the Spirit of God went across, or before he lurked across the waters of the dark deepness, or shall I say the deep dark waters, because this earth, before it was formed, it was pitch dark. It was absolute darkness. And then the Spirit of God came and created light before he created the sun and before he created the moon. So, need you to know, okay? Need you to know that this was also, now, some people would like to say, well, that darkness was the Saturnale, or the Satan, the evil. No. It wasn't him. Okay? He is indeed he has a dark soul, but it wasn't him. It was just pitch dark. And Yah, who is light, he himself was the first day. He was the first light. Okay? And then he separated himself from the darkness. Okay? Which he was already separated from it anyway. But my point is, demons lurk in the dark, don't they? That's not just in movies. That's in real life. It's true. They lurk in the dark. Now, you got some bold ones. There are some powerful ones, right? That's why they have some movies called, like when you see certain vampire movies, some vampires, some of them, the older vampires are stronger and they're more powerful, and they're called daywalkers. That's where they get that from. There are some devils that are extremely powerful, and they can walk in the day. Okay? But we don't want to get into all that right now, right? For the most part. Now, even them they still dwell in darkness ultimately, right? And can't be in the day for very long. Okay, this is real. This is the reason why these movies portray these things, because these movies get their information from the dark side. Okay, but now let us go. So we're still in the second segment, and this segment is called Darkness and Light, right? Now, where do demons dwell? In the darkness. So, let me back that up with scripture. Let's go to Ephesians 6:12. I'm going to read a different version. Sounds a little better. But Ephesians 6:12. It says, "For our struggle," now this is the struggle of humanity, all human beings, okay? It's mainly for us Israelites, but it's for the rest of the world as well, okay? Damn! Alright, that thing is good. Alright, so now Ephesians 6:12. For our struggle, the struggle of humanity, primary as black folk. It's just true. But let's be fair. For the struggle of humanity is not against flesh and blood. It's not against flesh. Okay? It's not against flesh and blood. But against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. I'm not even going to reread that. Y'all got that, right? So this world is considered darkness. Oh, but when the sun comes out, yeah, when the sun comes out, it's just daytime. That's all. This world is still considered darkness because it's an evil world. All the hearts of you niggas is evil. All the hearts of you Caucasians is evil. All the hearts of you Arabs is evil. All the hearts of you Chinamen are evil. All the hearts of you, or those of you that live over there in India, are evil. All the hearts of you Japanese and Koreans are evil. And I know Japanese and Koreans aren't exactly the same people. Let me tell you something, right? At one point, all the people of the world were dark skinned. But now, I want you all to do me a favor whenever you get the chance. Watch a Korean movie. I'm not going to differentiate between Southern and Northern Korea, but watch a Korean movie. Now, I believe Umbak, which is a good movie, by the way. It's one of them arts movies, right? The martial arts movies, right? And I believe they're Korean. They could be Cambodian, Korean. I know they're not Japanese, and I know they're not Chinese, okay? Umbak. Okay? The first and the second one were very good. Okay, the third one, they messed it up. But Umbak, go watch the first one. Now, if you glance at those Koreans in that movie, I want you all to tell me, I want you all to go watch the movie Umbak and glance at the Koreans in the movie. And think of once you just glance at them, think of what type of race of people they look like. That's all I want to say. I'm not going to get into the details. Go, any Korean movie, glance at them. Don't stare at them like this, because then you can see that clearly you can see the differentiation. But when you're watching the movie, just go like this, glance at them, right? You say, what the heck was that? What is that? Is that a nigga? You're going to look closer. It's going to make you look closer, right? But anyway, so the darkness and the wickedness are the devils and the stronger fallen of this world in heavenly places. Okay? Now, heavenly places, it can mean high up, but it's talking about statistically. Now, I'm going to prove that later. So, in other words, when it says in heavenly places, it's talking about in terms of power, the arm of Satan. In many places in the Old Testament where you see the word arm, it refers to strength, gabura, power. Okay, when they say the arm of God or the outstretched arm of God, that's talking about his power. And you know what it means? It means Christ. But let's keep moving, because that's not what this is about, right? So when it's talking about these wicked politicians and these wicked elites, their arm or their gabura is Satan. That's their power. That's their strength. Okay? That's the reason why the world has been given into the hand of the wicked. That's why the world is darkness. Even in the daytime, we're still in darkness. Yeah, it's light outside. But I need you to understand where I'm going with this. It's still darkness. Why? Because niggas and Caucasians and Arabs and Chinamen are all wicked. Your soul is wicked. Most of you destroyed the commandments with false gods. Then, hating your brother, then us niggas, by hating our brothers and sisters. Do you all know that when you despise one of your brothers and sisters, now I know it's hard, because niggas ain't shit. So it's hard, I know. It's hard to love your brother. It's not easy. Why? Because black folk do not have any love and do not have any rapport with one another hardly. There's some of us that can get along, but for the most part, like I said, some of you niggas think you got 5 friends. Some of you Negroes think you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even some of you Caucasians, you think you got 5 friends? Caucasians might. Arabs might have 5 friends. Even, see, this is what I'm saying, even the other nations, and they don't hate one another though. But you don't see a whole bunch of Arabs, they don't even roll like that. Chinamen, even the other nations. But what they have is boundaries though. Us niggas, we don't have no boundaries. Because I got about 2 solid people that I could actually call friends. And then, I have my wife is above that, right? That's my wife. She should be above that, right? That's above friendship. We're one flesh. It's different, right? My boys, they're too young to understand anything, man. They running around tearing up the place. They don't. But what I'm saying is, even the other nations, they have associates. Now, I have some solid people that I can say, that's a solid person. That's a solid person. That's a solid person. And, he's all right, Never had any discrepancies with him. He's not a tattletale. He's not a slanderer. He's not a gossiper. He's not gay. He's not a pedophile. You understand what I'm saying? He's all right. He's all right. But that word friend is a very powerful word, and many of you are so foolish as to believe that some of you think you got 5 friends. Some of you got enough friends on your hand that you can count with your hand. And if you do, I'm not saying that nobody does, but I'm saying I'm telling you right now, it ain't. Okay. They got 3, 4, 5. See, a friend will never turn you. A friend will never do you wrong. If it's a real friend, you gotta understand, a friend will take it to the end with you. See, that's what you need to understand about a friend. That's all guns out, whatever the case. Now, you don't want to drag your friend into nothing if you're a real friend. If you're going knee deep into something, you don't want to drag him into it just because he's your friend. No, that's what a real friend would do. You only see, that's only one, that's the drastic measures. Families is being bothered and all of these types of things. You understand what I'm saying? It's all type, it's going down. The chaos is everywhere, y'all can get away with 4, 5, 6 bodies or something like that. You know what I mean? During the purge time or something like that. But we're not talking about foolishness now, right? We're talking about survival, right? But we're talking about, so now, the wickedness is in high places, right? That's where all of these devils go, where they're dealing with politicians and dealing with the elitists and things of that nature, right? So let's go to Job chapter 38. Job chapter 38. God damn. Damn, that thing is good. Job chapter 38, right? Hast thou commanded the morning? Hast thou commanded the morning? Talking about God. Has Elohim, God, commanded the morning since thy days, and caused the day spring to know the sun, the rising of the sun, caused the day spring or the rising of the sun or the sun itself to know his place. Job chapter 38, verse 12. Has Elohim commanded the morning since thy days, and has caused the sun to know his place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it? So see, the sun reveals the wicked. Okay? A lot of devils can't run around in the daytime. If they're not strong enough, they can't run around unless they have a host. A lot of these people that you see on TV, there's a lot of clones going around here too. I just want to ask you all a question. Since he got out of jail, has anyone seen Gucci Mane drive? It's just a question. Has anyone ever seen Gucci Mane driving? Because I just would like to see him drive a car. Now, I could be wrong. He might have been driving all over the place and I just haven't noticed it. But I'm just asking anybody that question. Has anybody ever seen Gucci Mane drive? All respect to Gucci Mane. Now, that the sun might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked is darkness, that the wicked might be shaken out of it. It is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment. I don't want to explain that right now, okay? But listen, and from the wicked their light. So from the wicked people, now this is talking about the powers that be, but it also is trickling down to a lot of you Negroes, a lot of you Caucasians, a lot of you Arabs, a lot of you China and Japanese, and a lot of you folk from India, and trickles down to a lot of you Turkish people, you Russians. It's trickling down to all of you as well. Many of you ordinary people as well. Because many of you are also considered the wicked, or the majority of you as well. So it's not just talking about those who are in heavenly places, but specifically here it's saying, and the wicked, so what is it doing? And from the wicked, their light is refrained. Their light, it says here that their light is withholden, and the high arm shall be broken. So we're talking about specific people here, the Vaticans and all of you elitists and all of you powerful people, whether in Congress, in the dark, and in all of these places, right? It's saying that your light is withholden, meaning it's denied. You niggas are reprobates. And many of us Negroes here in the hood, and many Caucasians in their neighborhoods and respective places, rural areas, and many of you Arabs, and many of you Chinese people, and many of you Japanese people, many of you, your light is denied. Now, I want to explain to you all how dangerous that is, okay? Because many of you are in a very dangerous spot. And I want you all to continue to listen to this message. Because, well, listen, man, you talking about the tabernacle of God, man. You're talking about darkness. You're talking about, we need to know where this message is going, dog. Well, we all are dwelling in our own respective tabernacles. Every single person on this planet is dwelling in his or her own respective tabernacles, which is your flesh. And when your flesh that you all glorify in so much, when it ceases to function, many of you are going to have some shit to answer for, and there's no turning back. For many of you women, those beautiful bodies won't save you in the furnace. For many of you who have pride in this world and in all the things that you can see, none of this shit will save you at the throne of Christ. None of it will save you when the reapers put hooks in your shoulders and drag you to the furnace. Now, I'm warning y'all. But what you have to understand is, there's a lot that has to come before that. I understand this. But once you die, that time goes lightning fast. All you do, when you die, physically, when your flesh ceases to function, all your thoughts perish. See, there's a difference between coma and sleep. Some people would like to say that sleep is the cousin of death. No. A coma is the cousin of death. A coma is a form of death, almost, because you don't think. There's no dreams when you're in a coma. That's why people wake up in comas with memory loss. Because, depending upon how long you've been in a coma. A coma is a state of unconsciousness. Going to sleep at night and getting knocked unconscious are two different things. They're two different feelings. When you're asleep, you're still conscious. Why? Because how many of you all go to sleep and you really still know what's going on? Some of you are light sleepers. Even if you're heavy sleepers, some of you dream. You're conscious when you sleep. Your body is just in shutdown mode. Like your phone is still on. It's still calculating and it's still running apps. But you put it on sleep mode. But it's still carrying about its actions and functions. That's what happens to your body when you go to sleep. But when you're knocked out, you get knocked unconscious. You don't, during that time, you don't know anything. You're not thinking. A coma is the same way. It's just like death. So when you die, your thoughts perish. So you have to understand that. So right here, it's saying that, and from the wicked, if you are a wicked person, many of you out there, your light is denied. And thus, along with the light, wisdom. I don't care of your master's or bachelor's or doctorate's degree. That don't mean shit. Listen to what I'm telling you. That don't mean shit. They're all the construct of worldly knowledge that your oppressors taught you. Not the knowledge of God, not the knowledge of Christ, not the knowledge of the universe. Now I want you all to understand something. Because the light is, because you're denied the light, you also don't believe. And you make foolish, and you do foolish things. Like believe in everything but Christ. And any person that doesn't stand in arms with Christ is a person whom the light has been denied. See how many of you there are out there in comparison to those who are in union with Christ? It's only a narrow gate. Now, I want to go to the third segment. Hold tight. Just hold tight. Let's go into the third segment now, shall we? The third segment is Congregation of Yahusha. Congregation of Christ. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 5. Ooh-wee. Isaiah chapter, excuse me. Yeah, Isaiah chapter 5. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 5. Okay? Isaiah chapter 5. Okay? Pay attention. Isaiah chapter 5. And I need you to pay very close attention. Now, will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard or his vineyard? Vineyard, vineyard, whatever. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it. He fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest vine and built a tower in the midst of it Isaiah chapter 5, I'm starting from the top. Now will I sing a song. Now will I sing to my well-beloved the song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. He fenced it. Put a fence around it. And in other words, the fence is protection. The fence is a hedge. It's protection. And gathered out the stones. So all the dead weight, he took it and threw it out of the vineyard, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of this vineyard, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Judah, niggas, inhabitants of all black people, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now, go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof. I'm going to take the gate, the fence from around my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of Yahuwah of armies is the house of Israel. You niggas are the vineyard. For the vineyard is the house of Israel. It's not my opinion. The scriptures is telling you what the vineyard is. He's going to explain it to you. And the men of Judah, his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. Woe